Hi everyone, I'm Kara. Thank you for tuning in. I wanted to share with you this new video series that this is video number 1, a new video series that I'm inspired to create. And it is called The Path to Love. And if you know my work, you know that I'm pretty passionate about love, in the capital L, love. I mean, I love all forms of love, but the kind of love that comes from within, that we cultivate within our own heart center, to fully embody, to then share with all of those that we meet. So I want to share, I've got about 5 or 6 videos in this series that I would like to create and share with you, all on supporting you and cultivating some more love within your life, within your own self. And we're all going through pretty big changes right now, and whether you are aware of it or not, you're going through a spiritual awakening. And what this means is that there are big shifts happening within the planet, within the world, within the collective consciousness, within the systems that we've all been raised within. And this big spiritual awakening means that there's a lot of us sort of waking up to the reality that there is more to life than what we maybe once thought. And within this becomes this desire to learn more about ourselves and learn more about how we relate to the world around us, how we relate to other people, how we relate to ourselves. And really, the pathway to understanding some of these big concepts that I do want to chat about over the next few videos is really through the heart space. And what does it mean when we live from the heart space? It means that we live from a space that is connected to our true wisdom, our intuition, to our emotions, to our feelings. And a lot of us, go through life with the mind leading the way, myself included. And the mind is super clever and is really good at, trying to figure things out. But a lot of times the mind constricts us and tries to keep us safe and small. And when we're in that space, it's really hard for us to, or it can be challenging for us to step into future versions of ourselves, to open up to our soul's path, and really hard for us to listen to the whispers of the heart. And the mind is actually meant to be blank, maybe not blank, but it's meant to be clear. The mind is a beautiful tool, and it does really help us with a lot of our day-to-day activities, like driving to the store, or getting to work, or accomplishing tasks. But really, when the mind is clear, it becomes this beautiful receptor to receive messages from the heart, from our higher guidance, from our higher self, from our higher mind, from source, from divinity, from the universe. And to be in that space where the mind can be open requires us to really sink more into the heart space, so that we can come into the place where we feel more calm, we feel more connected to ourselves, we feel more relaxed and present, really the feeling of presence. Because a lot of times the mind keeps us operating in stories, past stories of things that have happened, to us in our lives. Sometimes we can loop in old traumas or wounds, and we just carry these wounds with us. And then they become, or they start to define who we are as people. We also spend a lot of time in the future, in needing to plan, needing to know what's coming, being afraid of what's coming, or afraid of the unknown. And whether or not we spend our time in the past or in the future, we're really losing this present moment. And this present moment is that sweet spot where the heart really is whispering to us all the time. And if we're so busy in the mind, we're not going to be able to hear those whispers. Or if we do hear them, it's pretty easy to just push them aside or say that's not relevant right now, or I can't listen, or I couldn't do that because of XYZ. So over the next few videos on this Path to Love series, I would really love to share with you some ways that we can start to bring our awareness to, where we're operating from. Are we operating from the mind, which is limited and usually based in lack or scarcity? Or are we able to kind of come back into the heart and operate from the place of presence and trust and faith and love? And, really, when we come into that place, there's just such a beautiful expression there, always waiting for us, that is actually leading us forward into whatever is next in our life. And so, just to speak a little bit about, what is happening sort of like out there or in our, in our collective, in the world, in the planet. And, we've all seen a lot of shifts that have been happening over the past couple of years. Well, it's been happening for quite a while, but it's really intensified over the past couple of years. And as we're watching, this sort of mass spiritual awakening that we're all in, whether we realize it or not, we're starting to question things. We're starting to question the systems that we've built our lives upon. We're starting to question institutions. We're starting to question, authority figures that we've always trusted or put our faith in. And we've started to realize that, maybe there's more going on here. Maybe there is something that we should be bringing our awareness to. And if you've been paying attention to, some spiritual teachers or, spiritual teachers, you'll probably be familiar with the term of moving from third dimensional consciousness to fifth dimensional consciousness. And, when we're in this third dimensional reality, or when our awareness is operating from the third dimension, we really do feel limited. We feel victimized, life is sort of is getting us, is putting us down. Life is happening to us. We can get really lost in this lack mentality that there's not enough. We have a very distinct, awareness that, we have this feeling that we're separate from others, that we're separate. There's this dualistic mindset where, it's kind of like me against you or us against them. And, when we live in this way, this is really when we're living in the mind. It's, there's a lot of competition and not enoughness and the poor me and the wounds and, really oscillating in the mind. And as the collective is shifting sort of to the fourth dimensional and fifth dimensional, we're coming to more place of acceptance. We're coming to more of the heart-centered living or the heart-based living, where we start to come into more awareness of, we're in this together. We're, that it's not a competition, as I rise, you rise, as you rise, I rise. We come to a more accepting place, not just of our surroundings or other people, but accepting of ourselves. We find more gentleness, more acceptance, more love. So this is, really what's happening right now all around us, whether or not you've been able to actually tune into it. And, really it's this path to come more into the heart space and more into the present moment and more into a place where we can come together as one. And, if you want to see more love in the world around you, it starts within. If you want to see more peace in the world around you, we have to come into peace within ourselves. The same as acceptance. If we feel like we really are praying for a shift of humanity to come into more of heart-based place, then we have to open up our hearts first, and activate that place within us where we can fully embody our own, divinity, our own higher self, our own love consciousness, so that we can show up in the world and just be ourselves and share that energy with all of those that we meet. So, what does it mean to open the heart, or how do we begin to open the heart? Really, the first step would be just to bring awareness to where you operate from. Are you operating from a place that feels scary or fearful? Do you feel that, you're trapped with your thoughts or beliefs a lot and your conditioning? It's starting to really identify, like, what's your operating system? It's funny because, we have all of these like technologies that we're constantly upgrading the operating system, and really, like, how often do we bring that awareness within ourselves where it's like, okay, like, it's time for me to upgrade my own operating system. And so where are you operating from? Do you feel like life is happening to you? Do you feel like you can't get ahead? If you have these thoughts, then it's a beautiful invitation to open up, to be willing to see things differently, to open up to, bringing yourself into the heart center. And, a really good way that always works for me is to, if I find myself really looping and getting caught up in what's coming or what was, really a simple way is to close the eyes, place your hands on your heart, and just take about 5 or 6 deep breaths. And while you're breathing, set up the intention, set the prayer that you are willing to see things differently, that you are willing to come into the heart space, to the place that's soft, to the place that's more expanded, to the place that's open to possibilities, that's open to abundance, that's open to connection. And just coming into that space willingly. And you don't even know, or you don't even need to know how to figure it out. It's not something that the mind does. This isn't like a logic thing that it's like, I have to get into my heart. It's not that, it's feeling. And a lot of times it's just feeling where you are in that moment. And even if that's feeling that your thoughts are like going wild, that's okay. Just pause, reflect, come into the moment, and let yourself just connect into the heart. Every person that wakes up, their heart affects the energy of all of those around them. And we begin to harmonize our environment just by showing up who we are in the place of love and being connected to that place. So if you're like me and you're ready to see more love in the world, if you're ready to have more heart-based experiences, if you're ready to shift relationships, if you're ready to shift your job, your passion, if you're ready to shift, who you are and how you show up in the world, and if you're ready for that shift to become more heart-based, then I hope you tune into the next few videos. And of course, feel free to comment, add questions, reach out at any time. Because really it's all about love at the end of the day. And yeah, I guess that's it for video 1. Thank you so much for listening. And I would say, if you're looking for some homework or something to do, just start to tune in more to the heart center. Send a prayer that you're willing to shift your perspective, that you're willing to update your operating system, that you're willing to expand into different levels of consciousness that will bring you more in touch with the truth of who you are. Not who you've been told you are, or not what society tells you you've been, or your parents or your teachers, but really who you are within. Only you know that. So thank you so much, and I'll see you in video number 2 in the Path to Love series. So thank you so much. Have a beautiful day or evening. Thank you.